All right, cool. Hi, everybody. Good to have you here. Sorry, Nick. Good to have you here. I made myself a little speech. I wrote it here on my paper, and so I have it to share it with you all today. Um, if you read my newsletter, now Molly read it. She was like, Jake, what is this? And I was like, it was like 3 o'clock on a Friday, and I was just back in my office at home, and I was just typing, and I was laughing, and I was having a great time while I was writing it. So those are like, that's like Jake Unfiltered right there, what you saw, the like mad ramblings of my mind on Friday. So maybe you enjoyed, maybe you thought this is dumb, but whatever. I had fun with it, so that's all that counts to me. But anyway, on that, I put some of like, I always think, but Kevin and I kind of have the same problem sometimes of like, does anybody really know what I get up to?
Something stop. Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Kristen. I like, does anybody know what I actually get up to in a day? Um, and so that's why I put on there like, what is Jake working on right now? I put like my goals, and one of those that you saw if you read it was to give a speech a week, because I want to get better at public speaking. So you guys are, hopefully you will benefit from what I have to say. But at the very least, I'll get better at doing it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Um, so when I was thinking about, okay, well, what could I talk about first? Well, it's January 5th, and you got, we all do the same thing in January, right? It's what's your New Year's resolutions? Did anybody make a New Year's resolutions this year? Or has everybody given up on it? Kat, you made one. What'd you make? If you want to share.
Oh, I made like
A lot. Okay. Do you want to share one, or are you good?
do more yogas at the top of my list.
Do more yoga. That's a good one. Okay.
But I don't make it like a certain thing that it has to be this.
Yeah.
Just like Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Give myself some leeway.
Okay.
I like it.
Yep.
My husband and I made one. We're trying to be more outreach social.
Yeah.
So we have a goal to invite at least 2 people over, for dinner a month.
Okay. Nice. Cool.
I'm open to invitations.
Okay.
As long as you have peeps.
Husband, you know?
It's kind of a little trip.
So you get a dinner out.
Nice.
You get to see Kristen and her.
Well, when I think about New Year's resolutions, like it's almost kind of a trope, right? That you make them, and then like by January 12th, like they're gone, they're out the window. And so, like, why is that? Why does that happen? And it's actually like, it's not because people are like unmotivated or bad at following through. It's actually just because we don't set very good or clear goals. Kristen's actually a great example of one where it's very achievable, clear, and has a good deadline to it. Of like, by the end of each month, we're going to invite 2 people over to our house. Like, they know, did they do it? Did they not do it? It's a yes or a no. And so that's a great example of one. But actually, like, yeah, when it comes to having different goals, I love setting goals. Molly gets driven crazy by the number of goals that I set in my life. She's like, "Can you just relax, Jake?" But it's like, it's fun for me to do it. And so over the years, like, I've just learned how to do it better from a lot of different places. So I just want to share with you guys, like, here's how to set a goal that can actually be achieved and done. That is actually, it's pretty simple. And then next week, talk about like the plan, making a plan for actually getting it done. Because there's 2 parts to it. There's setting the right goal, and then there's having a plan to actually achieve it. So I'm going to talk about the first one, setting the right goal. So like I said, the 3 reasons why it fails: it's not achievable, it's not clear, and it doesn't have a deadline. So like, if I asked you to do something where you didn't know what you were doing, you didn't know when to do it by, and it actually was impossible to do. Like, if I said to you, well, you guys know that the heater kind of had a mini explosion today of some kind, but so if I said, change the heater in the warehouse in 9C, and like I walked away, like, is anybody actually, no, like, you're not doing that, because like, you don't know what you're doing by when, and it's just not possible. And so that's what we got to do. We got to make it more clear, achievable, and put a deadline on it. So it's not that we're bad at following through. It's just that it's not possible to follow through on a bad goal. Okay, so I'm going to give you like this is the formula for it. And guys, I printed a handout and everything. I have a handout for you if you want it. Like, okay, great. I have them ready for you, Sammy. But before I get to the handout, I'm actually going to start with the first most important step, and it's the why. And this is like the step that we will skip so easily. Like, why are we doing it? And I can speak from experience, like human beings, like we are the most forgetful people, forgetful things on the planet. Of like we have this great idea in January of like, okay, I want let's see, let me think of one that I'm working on right now. Okay, here's a great example. My typing. I want to beat Kristen. 120 words per minute. Like that was my goal. And I set this goal, guys. I set it in December. And I failed. Okay, we're gonna talk about why I failed, because this is a great example of why I failed. So number one, the why. I didn't have a why behind it. The only why was to beat Kristen. And if you know anything about good whys, a good why is always like others focused. It's not me focused, because you are the easiest person to let down on the planet. I'll let myself down and it's like, whatever, and I'll move on. But if I am doing it for Kevin, I don't want to let Kevin down. I don't want to let any of you guys down. And so when you make a why, like having it centered around other people in some way, that's like how you can get it to stick. So with my typing, why was I doing it? I don't know. I was doing it to beat Kristen, and then I wasn't consistent and I failed, guys. I got crushed, pulverized, blown into smithereens is what happened to me. So, and when we don't have like a good why, what happens is to reach our goal, we have to do something that we don't want to do. Otherwise, we would be doing it, right? Like if we want to get to some place, if I want to get to 120 words per minute, I have to practice typing an hour every day, and I don't want to practice an hour of typing every day. That's really boring. And so if we don't have a clear why, we'll get far into what we're trying to do and then forget, wait, why am I doing this? And then just kind of let it fade and evaporate away because it's not clear to us. Like when this is like I'm spending a lot of time on the why because it really is the most important step, and we just will skip over it really easily and quickly because we will forget it. Like we will forget it no matter what. Like I last year was trying to work out more, and I got like 3 months into it, and I was like, I'm so sick of doing this. Like, why am I even doing this? Like, this is so dumb. And then I did give up because I didn't have a why, because I was like, I'm just going to do this and like, I'm going to get it done. And then I did give up because I didn't have a clear why. Same with the typing. So choose the why to clarify what you want to do and to give you the motivation to keep going. And then write it down, because I guarantee like you'll forget it. And so you got to write it down to come back to it, because you will forget it otherwise. Okay. So how to pick a why? How do I get to why am I doing something? Because a lot of times we'll just start with like this idea of typing faster. Well, what's my why behind that? You want to ask, what am I tired of? What do I want to change? Or what do I want to achieve? And then pick who you're doing it for. Like it's got to be a who. So looking at a different example, or looking at my exercise example, if I'm picking a why there, why do I want to exercise more? Is it for me? No, I want to exercise more so that I'm in good, healthy condition for my family into the future, so that I can run around with my daughter when she's 12 years old and throw her in the air and do crazy things with her. Like that's a why that like kind of moves your heart a little bit. Like it tugs on your heartstrings. I didn't have a why for typing because it's kind of pointless, guys. Like, if I needed to learn typing to save my daughter's life, I would be over there and I would be typing 3 hours a day nonstop. Like it wouldn't be even a question. But because I didn't have that, it just faded away. So it's got to have some heart behind it, and it needs to be for somebody else. So like here are some examples, like changing from why am I doing this? Because I want to look good. No, I want to be healthy for my children in the future. I want to get more me time. No, I want to find rest so I can be more present for my partner and my spouse. I want to move out of my parents' house. No, I want to build independence so I can start giving back to my family. Like these are whys that are like others focused, and actually get us to move. And then just write it down. Please write it down, because you'll forget it. Okay. All right. Now that we have the why, let's actually move to my handout. Like what's actually on the handout. This is the more simple part. So it's a pretty simple formula, and some of you have probably heard of it by now. It's And you guys know I'm kind of a math person. I think through formulas in my mind. I have these variables, and that's the way I think. I don't really think in like art. I don't. Yeah, that kind of describes it well. So this is the formula. It's going to from one place to another place by a date. Like that's it. So like in Kristen's example, go from having no people over at our house to 2 people over by our house at our house by the end of this month. Like that's her really clear, great goal that she has there. And it should be two things. One, it should be objectively measurable. So we need to know if we actually hit it or not. Like in Kristen's example, if you said, invite more people over to my house, well, what's more? Like, is one more or what? So it needs to be objective, and then it actually needs to be possible to do. So if Kristen said, invite 39 people over to my house the next month, okay, well, that's not possible to do. So we're going from X to Y by a date. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing like all this from other people, just so you guys know. Um, then we pick the deadline, and that's essential because it actually like gets us to move. Like people don't move unless they have a deadline. Have you ever noticed that? If you put something that you're going to do and you don't put any date on it, like it just kind of drags around. And when is it actually going to get done? And actually, it can live in this zone of very unclear. But if you put a date on it and say by June 30th, I want to run a half marathon. Okay, like now that's kind of scary. Like now I'm a little scared that I got to do this. And then you start thinking, what are the steps that I have to do and actually complete that? So the deadline's super important. So it's from X to Y by when. All right, so I've given you a bunch of examples already, but let's dive into the example of my typing again because it shows a lot of things that I did wrong. And you all are very familiar with my typing. You witnessed it all firsthand. So I failed because for a couple of different reasons. So I didn't have a why that kept me motivated. I just wanted to be better than everyone else, which is a terrible why. Like, I'm just being honest. That's what it was. That's what it was. I was like, oh, I just want to be better than everybody else. But I don't actually care about being better than everybody else that much, and so I didn't follow through. I didn't practice consistently because I didn't have a clear why. I was pretty consistent at the beginning. I was every night for like 2 weeks straight. I was 30 minutes typing, guys. It was Molly was getting a little frustrated with how much typing I was doing. I didn't have a clear execution plan. I didn't have a clear plan of how am I going to go from X to Y, and I set a goal that was not achievable in the time frame given. It just was impossible. The goal that I set was going from 34 words per minute to 110 by January 2nd. So like that was like 24 days. And yeah. Like you're laughing at my goal now because it wasn't achievable. It was just unachievable in the time frame. So in short, it was measurable and clear with a deadline, which was good. Like that was good, but it wasn't others focused. It wasn't achievable, and I didn't have a clear plan. And I just couldn't do it with the life constraints that I had. I just had a baby, and I shouldn't be typing for 3 hours a day. That's not really that's not really a good thing to do as a new dad. FYI, just in case you were wondering. Here's a good one, though. This is another personal example of a good one that I did recently. So I set a goal to go from no running to running a 10K by January 11th. I've never really run in my life that much. And so in December, I was like, I want to try to run a 10K. And so I'm going to this Sunday. If anybody wants to join me at the Shiver by the River on Sunday in Jim Dietrich Park, please, I would love to talk. I would love to do it with you. Come and join me. That'll be a lot of fun. So this worked because I set a clear why. I want to be active for my long-term physical health for my family. I was consistent. I had a good plan. I actually just got a plan from the internet and just followed it. And I set a goal that was achievable based on my time frame and based on where I was already at physically. I could do it. So in short, it was measurable. It was clear. It was others focused. It was achievable. And I had a clear preset plan. Like I wasn't trying to figure out the plan as I went. I knew what the plan was. I just had to wake up and do it. And there were days when I woke up and I did not want to do it. But I was like, well, I put it on the calendar and the money's already spent in my mind of like the registration fee. So like, I better go do this thing. So going back around, like back around to our New Year's resolutions that we can make of like, of like work out more or be healthier. Like you guys see the problem with it now, that it's not achievable, it's not measurable, it's just really unclear. That's the problem. It's just really unclear. You can't actually achieve it. It has no deadline, and it could be totally unaligned with a why that you have. You may have a very legitimate why for it, but it could be totally unaligned, and there's just no plan. So that's the problem with those, and that's how we can set a good goal. They're unachievable, they're unclear, and they're unaligned with our why with an unknown deadline. So if we can make them achievable, clear, have a good why with a deadline, then we can actually do it. And like, this is how it actually gets done. And next week we'll talk about how to make an execution plan. And part of that is setting good habits, which guys, I got to do a quick plug for Kevin here. Because Kevin, he read a book recently called Atomic Habits, and he's going to do an optional lunch and learn on a Wednesday over in our conference room. If you want to learn more about how to make good habits, I'll be there and actually it was kind of initiated because I didn't want to read the book. But I wanted to hear what is in the book. And so, and so Kevin's going to explain it. And I thought that it would be helpful for other people as well. So now a bunch of you maybe say they're thinking, like, that makes sense and I like the idea, but now you kind of have a pit in your stomach from what I've said, because like, what if I fail? What if I get really clear with the goal and I fail? Okay, what happens then? What if something comes up and blocks me that I can't follow through on it? And can I really make another commitment? Like, I'm already so busy in my life. Can I really make another commitment? Like, these are the primary things that happen when we think about doing a goal. And actually, why we set unclear goals, because when we set a clear goal, it starts bringing up these feelings of like, wait, like kind of overwhelmed. And those are all like totally normal and valid feelings. I'm not going to try to solve them or like explain them away or like get you to like push past them, because they're just going to exist, because I have them too. Like, can I really do this? Even when I send out my newsletter with the goals that I'm working on in the next like month or so, I'm looking at these things like, can I even really do this? Because I don't know. But publishing it publicly to you guys helps me be more consistent with it. But I would just ask a question, like, you have this pit in your stomach, like, can I really do it? And just ask the question, like, are you just happy and content with the way things are in your life right now, with the way everything is in your life? Because if you are, that's fine. Like, you don't need a goal, you don't need to change anything. That's fine, you can keep it the way it is. But if there is something that you wish that it was better or wish that it was different, like, this is what it takes for it to change. Because if it would change easily, it would have already changed by now. That it requires like sacrifice, and it requires some work there and pushing through. And you don't need to do like 1,000 goals. If you just do like one, that's totally fine. So, like I said, I created a handout for you guys. Let me grab it real quick. I put them on top of the cubbies. You can take one if you want it. I'm not requiring anybody to do this. It's totally optional if you want to or not. But next week we will talk about making a plan for achieving it if you do this. So this is what it looks like. It's very simple. At the top it says, I will go from blank to blank by this date. And then this box, why am I setting a goal? Where am I starting? Where am I ending? And when am I doing it by? So by filling up these boxes, you will fill out this one up here. It's pretty simple that way. So I'm going to put it on top of the cubbies. If you're interested in doing it, I would love that. If you guys are struggling through, like, how do I set, like, I kind of have a vague idea of it, but I can't quite put my finger on what I'm trying to do, I would love to talk about that. Literally nothing gives me more life than that. Molly had a bunch of small tasks she wants done around our house, and she like keeps on trying to get me to do it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then she's like, Jake, what if we set like a goal for doing it? I was like, what? You set a goal? And like, I'm not even joking, guys. Like, she said, yeah, what if we set a goal for it? I was like, okay, now I'm interested. And so that was at our kitchen table on Saturday, and I spent like an hour and a half. I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and I was ready to get all out. And from her perspective, she's like, this is amazing. Like, all I had to do was say goal, and now Jake jumps into action. So I get like giddy doing this stuff. And so if you are working through it and you are like, oh, I'm just kind of stuck, I would love to talk through it with you guys. So yeah, we'll talk next week about how to actually make a plan for the goal, because when you set a clear goal, that's like step one. Step two is actually having a plan of how am I going to do it. So I would encourage you, like, if you do set one, don't start trying to do stuff on it yet. Like, just put the brakes on, because it's really helpful to have a clear plan of action before you jump into it. Because when you're in the middle of it, you like enter this fog of like what's going on. But if you have a clear plan before going into it, it gets much more clear and simple to do it that way. Okay? So, take one of these if you want to, if you're so inclined, or ignore it. It's up to you guys. Totally optional. I hope that's helpful to you all. Next week we'll talk more, and then Kevin will really land the plane. He doesn't know that he's going to do that, but he is. Okay, that's all I have to say. You guys have any questions? Are you good? Okay, cool. Thank you all.